Hey, Northern Nevada, it's that time again. We have the monthly recap numbers for the housing market in Northern Nevada. Whether you're in the market to buy, sell, invest, or maybe just you want to keep an eye on what's happening in the area, we've got all the information here for you.
So let's dive into June 2025.
Let's start with numbers for Reno for June 2025. Median sales price was $590,000, up 4.5% from May and over 3.5% from the same time last year. Closed sales was 351 homes. Median days to contract, 26 days. It's over twice as slow as the same time last year to get your home into contract. Active inventory right now in Reno is 1,073 homes, and month supply of inventory is 3.1 months of inventory. This means if nothing new came on the market, it would take 3.1 months to sell everything. So it puts us still in a relatively solid seller's market. Now let's go out to Sparks and take a look at June 2025 numbers. Median sales price was $550,000, up just over 3% from May and over 3.5% from the same time last year. Closed sales was 156 homes. Median days to contract, 29 days. Still way slower than it was last year to get your home into contract. Active inventory is 424 homes for sale right now in Sparks, and month supply of inventory is 2.7 months of inventory. Now let's cruise down to Carson City and look at June 2025 numbers. Median sales price was $570,000, up over 6.5% from May and almost 9% from the same time last year. Closed sales was 43 homes. Median days to contract, 30 days. It's almost twice as long as it took in May to go into contract. Active inventory is 139 homes for sale right now in Carson City, and month supply of inventory, 3.2 months, so still a relatively solid seller's market.
Now let's take a look at Douglas County for June 2025. The median sales price was $725,000, up 7.5% from last month and up almost 9% from last year. So numbers definitely headed north down in Douglas County. Closed sales was 93, days to contract is 27. Active inventory is 356 homes, and month supply of inventory is 3.8. So a little seller's and a buyer's market down in Douglas County. Now let's take a look at Fernley for June 2025. The median sales price was $415,000, up 3% from last month and up almost 5.5% from last year. Closed sales was 37, days to contract was 23. Active inventory is 93 homes, and it's 2.5 months of inventory, so a solid seller's market in Fernley.
And now we're going to zoom in and take a closer look at some of the popular communities in the Reno-Sparks area and see what their numbers look like for June 2025. Let's start with South Meadows. Median sales price was $699,000. Homes sold 45, days to contract, average days to contract 38 days, and active inventory right now in South Meadows is 115 homes. Now let's swing out to Somersett and see what the numbers for June 2025 look like out there. Their median sales price was $840,000, 21 homes were sold, 38 days to contract, and right now in Somersett there's 44 homes for sale. Now let's swing out to Wingfield Springs in beautiful Spanish Springs. The median sales price in June 2025 was $585,000. The homes sold 35, days to contract 55 days, and active inventory right now in the Wingfield Springs community is 109 homes.
Now let's zoom out and look at all counties in Northern Nevada for June 2025. The median sales price was $559,000. Closed sales was 774. Days to contract was 25. List price received was 98.6%. Active inventory is 2,350 homes with a 3-month supply of inventory. What does the month supply of inventory mean?
What that means is if no more homes came on the market today, we would have 3 months worth of inventory to sell. 3 months typically means we're in a pretty solid seller's market. But then when we start looking at how long the homes are taking to go into contract and things are moving a little bit slower, we're finding that buyers still have a lot of leverage in this market.
Right, and we have the finger on our pulse of the market. We're checking with our real estate friends, not only nationally, but regionally, what's going on. And like you said, we're seeing homes sit and move longer.
And that's good
What
news
does
for the
that mean?
buyers,
Yeah.
you know, because they do have, we're finding sellers are still giving concessions. Maybe you can get a credit to buy down the interest rate or a little bit of money off the price, which if you have a choice, it's always better to buy down that interest rate than take a price off the house. Wouldn't you
Right.
agree? A discount on the house price.
And it's good news for the sellers and the buyers because 98.6% of the list price received, these sellers are still getting pretty close to their number. And that 1.5% equates to about 10 grand. So we're seeing a lot more concessions, like you said, of buying down the rate or helping people with closing costs. So it's a
Right.
win-win.
Yeah. So the sellers, because they do have, most sellers have record high equity in their homes right now. So they're okay with giving a little credit here and there. And it ends up being a win-win for both sides and gets the deal done.
Absolutely. How important would you say it is to price the home correctly at the beginning?
I mean, any market, whether it's an up market or down, it's important to price it right. But right now, when homes are sitting longer and the buyers are pickier, and there might be aren't as many buyers because of the interest rate and things like that, we're finding everything's going slower. Getting that house price right from the get-go is important just to get the people in the house to look at it, because if you're too high, you're going to miss a whole pool of buyers. And even the buyers that come look at it, they're going to say, no, it's overpriced, and just walk away. And then if you start having to do price cuts, you get to a point where the buyer pool starts to think there's something wrong with your house,
Right.
as opposed to just being overpriced. And then you can end up actually having to take a bigger cut in price than you would have if you just would have priced it correctly the first time. And it is hard because I know sellers, sometimes you go into a home and it's how it's decorated and designed is beautiful, and the sellers love their home and they think it's worth more than it is. But you take everything out that the seller has added, all the furniture and the decorating things, and you need to look at how that house compares to the other houses on the market and the comps. And a lot of times it's not worth quite as much as what the sellers think. And that's why you have to have that hard conversation right from the get-go and listen to your agent sellers when they're telling you what the market value is, because we all do a lot of research. We know what's going on in the market. And if you overprice a home, it's not going to be a win for anybody.
So equity is always building over a 10-year period. So it's never a bad time to own. And we ask them, if you're emotionally and financially ready to buy a house, that's the best time to buy the house. You're ready.
So let's elaborate a little bit, because it's a little confusing when you're saying that the prices of the houses have never gone down over 10-year periods. I just want you to elaborate that just means, because we did look at, in the 2007, 2008, how the prices dropped.
Right.
But see what you're saying, if you stay in that home, if you ride it out, it comes back,
Yeah.
right? So explain that.
So first of all, your house is like a built-in savings account. So you hold your house, if you buy your house in 2020, 25, you hold your house to 2035. Over that 10-year period, history tells us the equity is going to go north. Your savings account is going to build money into its savings account. It's a built-in money tree for you. So one more note to that, because people's first inclination when I make that comment about a 10-year period, you're thinking of 2007, 8, 9, where everything crashed. Well, if you held that to 2017, your equity in your house, your built-in savings account, still grew. That's what we're talking about here. Over a 10-year period, never in the history of the real estate market has the equity gone down in your home. So it's always a good time to own.
We could use a house that we purchased in 2003 as an example.
Yes.
Purchased it, new construction, $332,000. And then during the dip in the market, the value of our home went down to maybe $280,000, $270,000, but we held on to it and ended up selling it in 2014 for a nice healthy profit.
Yeah. So, that was our built-in savings account. So if you're ready, willing, and able, you're emotionally and financially ready to buy a home, it's never a bad time to own a home.
And you don't know if you're ready until you sit down, ask the questions, and look at your particular specific situation and figure out if now's the right time, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year from now. But know where you stand, and that's where you're going to make an informed decision. We could sit here and give you a million reasons why today is the best time to buy or sell a home. But we don't know your situation until you give us a call, no obligation, and go over your situation, and we lay it out, and we can come up with a game plan, a roadmap for buying and selling and what makes sense for you.
Thanks for watching. We look forward to hearing from you and seeing you next time.
For all your real estate news, local market updates, and Northern Nevada lifestyle and events, check us out on all your favorite socials.
Turn on notifications, ring that bell, and put a comment in there what neighborhood you want information for, and we'll get you all the trends and what's happening in that area.
We're Amy and Billy Boylan with eXp Realty. Make the Boylan Team your team,
We love what we do.
and you will too.